Hey golfers, I'm Drew Mahowald, the Second Swing Golf. We're here at the Royal Golf Club. I'm joined by Sam Udovich and Tyler Fitzel. Sam is one of the most accomplished high school golfers really ever in the state of Minnesota. And Tyler, you know who he is. He's a master club fitter at Second Swing and is Sam's fitter. So we wanted to talk through Sam's bag here. And first of all, Sam, what's it been like working with Tyler through the years? Obviously, he's helped you win some stuff. You've won a lot of things over the years. What's that been like?
It's been great. What have we been together?
You could be
for?
brutally honest.
Yeah, I was gonna say put him on the spot right away. So Phil Anderson, your coach, your swing coach, emailed me back in I think about maybe March. About March of 2020, and he said, "I've got this kid that I'm working with, and I need to get his stuff checked out. You know, is there possible we can come in? Not sure if we need to do anything different." And I'm like, "Absolutely, of course, right?" And I worked with Phil many times. Great guy. We're talking about putter, wedges. You know, take a look at the driver, things like that. Just like, is the length good, or do we need to tweak anything? And we did change some stuff because he was at that point already where he was growing a lot taller.
Yeah.
And one of the main focuses that I talk about every day in the fitting bay is length and strength. And so with younger players, generally speaking, we know they're going to get taller and stronger.
Yeah.
Well, that's where that's what we're going to talk about with some of the equipment. But I know we bent a putter, so it's more upright. You could see down the line. I know we bent your wedges. I don't think we did anything with the driver. You were hitting it good. And so obviously there's April rolls around. There's the drive, chip, and putt at Augusta.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Phil didn't tell me that this is what you were going for. I just thought, hey, well, you know, got this nice young
got a junior player, got a great swing.
We'll just look at some stuff, and that's what we did. So one of the things that I'm watching drive, tip, and putt. Now, 2020 was COVID, so the Masters didn't happen until
November.
Right. But you guys still had drive, chip, and putt. And I'm watching this, and then there's this Sam Udovich, and Invergrove Heights, I think is what it was on there. And I'm like, well, he's at the top of the leaderboard. All right. Well, not only is he at the top of the leaderboard, you win it. Yeah. So that was kind of one of the things there where, like, I didn't know this until after he had already won it. And then I'm thinking, well, I'm glad we took a look at the equipment.
So that was your introduction, Tyler, to him, and obviously Sam's accomplished a heck of a lot since then. So let's go through what's currently in the bag and what you guys have been working on. We're going to start at the top. So let's talk about that GT4 driver. First, Sam, as a player, what are you using the driver for? When you're on the golf course, is there a shot shape you like? Is there a go-to swing? What do you try to accomplish with the setup here? And then I'll talk to Tyler about kind of what the specs are.
Yeah, I feel like I always try to pinpoint probably just this little soft baby cut. I've hit it on a lot of holes, honestly. Whenever I have the opportunity to, I usually hit driver, especially when there's not much trouble up there. I feel like with my distance, I can get up there pretty far and give myself a good chance. So.
And I've seen you hit the golf balls. You have some speed. Is there a stock number, so to speak, that you have for your driver?
I probably play it around probably around 325, somewhere in that range area.
Mm-hmm. That's decent speed and distance there. So, all right, Tyler, talk to me about the specs. What do we got for this? It looks like a GT4 head here.
Yeah, well, even kind of going way back, one of the things I mentioned was that length and strength. So we started to get stronger with it. In any case, what we had first wasn't the 4 model. And what we had to do is we had to go to this because we had too much spin.
Yeah.
What we wanted was, it was a little low launch and a little high spin. And that's not a great combination, especially when you're talking about like control on the golf ball. So what we did is we actually went to the 4 model because in Titleist's lineup, it's very low spin. It's also kind of fade enhanced where it's got a little bit smaller footprint. It's a little flatter lie angle. And immediately, and I mean like literally, we saw almost like a 20-yard difference. It was crazy. It got high, it didn't spin, and I mean, it was like carrying 320.
Yeah, and what's fascinating now, so again, we've got this is the TR Ventus Black 7X in the driver. So now when we get to the 3-wood too, it's a GT2 head. So there's a pretty big difference as far as, quote unquote, what they're designed to do from GT2 to GT4. So I guess for you, do you play 3-wood off the tee much? Is it, when you play this club, is it more off the tee than it is off the ground?
Definitely for sure.
Okay.
I typically hit off the tee box more than I do ground. But if a shot calls for off the ground, then I'll for sure hit it. But my go-to is definitely off the tee.
Okay, and is it a similar shot shape for
Yeah.
you as well? You're still playing that kind of
Exactly.
stock fade there?
Very identical.
Got it. And again, from a fitting perspective, curious about the GT2 being,
Yeah.
the quote-unquote high MOI, design versus the driver being the GT4. That's,
Yeah.
the low spin. From your perspective, Sam, do you notice that shape being different or not really?
Not a ton.
Okay.
Not really much.
Because like the GT4 is a smaller club head. It's
Yep.
designed for low spin. It's smaller. GT2 is kind of that larger footprint for a fairway wood. But was it just because those are the numbers that were best for him in the fitting bay, Tyler?
Yeah, and it's also a look thing too, because we were coming out of the TSR lineup, and it was the same scenario where we already had that TSR2 in the bag, and I think you had a TSR3 driver. And
Okay.
that was one of the things that we wanted to look at when we got into the new GT lineup was, what are we going to do different? And this is common, and we know this too, is for a lot of high-end players, especially the tour players, they might come in and this is something that we were talking with Titleist. They'll come in and they'll set down a GT2, and they've been playing like the 3 model for a long time. They'll set down the 2 and they'll hit it. And
They don't
they'll
notice the difference.
No, well, they don't tell them, right? And they're like, oh, this is awesome. And then all of a sudden you turn around and oops, yeah, it was a completely different model.
Yeah.
So you really want to look for the flight characteristics to it. And like right now, currently, we didn't get to try yet the GT1 Tour 3-wood, right? Which is actually a little bit bigger, and it's a phenomenal club that you can utilize in both. We haven't really tried that because it's just so successful. It works really well. And for that, this is one of those things. Don't change what's working,
Yeah.
right?
It's working for him right now.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we leave well enough alone?
Yeah,
That's Grandma's
exactly.
advice. Leave well enough alone.
Right. So this is one I'm curious about, because I think off camera, before we hit record, you've said that this next club is kind of one that Tyler's probably had the biggest impact in terms of putting it in your bag, right? We've got the Strixon. This is a ZXI utility iron, the 3-iron at 20 degrees. I guess talk to me about that club, why you like it so much, why it's in the bag, and what the purpose is on the course.
So the reason why I like that club so much is because I feel like it's honestly one of the easier clubs for me to hit. I feel like any other driving iron is pretty hard to hit, especially kind of a 2-iron, even though it's a 3-iron. But I think off the tee box, kind of just going back to that little cut, I feel like that's honestly easier to hit in terms of kind of like imagining a certain ball flight and hitting it
Sure.
rather than a driver or a 3-wood.
Got
So,
it.
and then also I feel like the strength of that club is just having an approach shot to the green. I feel like I can also get that thing pretty high up in the air as well,
Okay.
and have it, land how I want it to, rather than just rolling out, if that makes
Sure.
sense, and just being able to be versatile off a tee box or the fairway or
Yeah.
approach shots.
The multi-purpose use, that's kind of the name utility iron, right? It can
Yeah.
serve multiple purposes. That checks a lot of boxes right there. And then we get into the irons. So the Titleist, it looks like, is it T100 all the way through here, the iron set?
All the way
It
through.
is.
All the way through, 4 through 9. And so we'll talk about kind of the gap wedge being, a traditional wedge in a second. But
Yep.
T100 and the testing, and then kind of obviously how they've performed for you the last, since you put them in the bag. What's your favorite part about these irons? Why do you like them so much?
I like them just because I feel like they're super consistent.
Yeah.
I feel like I just have a good amount of control with them. I don't really ever find shots being super wayward. I feel like I can hit a club within a various range, and whether that's distance or wherever I'm trying to hit the ball. I feel like they're super controlled.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
sure.
a lot of control, a lot of
Yeah.
consistency.
Yeah.
And then, is there ever a kind of discussion, Tyler, about, or maybe you can chime in here too, Sam, but did you ever want to play like a combo set at all? Or did you, like, between the 4 through 9, like having, a T150 or a T200 or anything like that within the set? Or did you kind of just, go through knowing you wanted to play the T100 all the way?
I would never really had anything else, honestly.
No, and a lot of that was the performance of what we had.
Yeah.
Like we were getting the launch we wanted, we're getting the spin, we're getting the ball
I
speed.
mean, he has plenty of speed,
Yeah.
so there was probably no concern about the 4-iron getting
Nope.
up high enough or anything
No,
like that.
it wasn't. And
Okay.
and so like we didn't need more, whereas like the 150 might get us a little bit more ball speed, and it's got a little deeper pocket, it's positioned
Yeah.
a little different. So one of the things we might talk about from that perspective is like, okay, do we need like a 3-iron in it?
Yeah.
Or at some point, do we want to get the 4-iron in it? We don't need it for distance. We need it for control. So that's one of the reasons we stayed in the 100s.
Yeah. What is the shaft then that he's playing with?
We're playing Dynamic Gold, True Temper Dynamic Gold.
the X100.
X100s.
Yep.
We haven't tipped them yet in that sense to make them a bit more stiff.
I mean, that's already about
Yeah.
as strong and stiff as an iron shaft gets nowadays.
It is.
X100.
There's a couple things. You know, True Temper, that Dynamic Gold specifically, that shaft has been around for more than 50 years.
Yeah.
It's been used at the top level by everyone. And they haven't necessarily made any major changes. So, like, structurally, or maybe just the materials they're using, like, it's still the same shaft. So that kind of leads into this point, too, where we talk about strength. Well, he was growing taller, and we have gotten longer. It was like, I think when I even got to you, it was like we're at standard, and then we had to go a ½ inch, and now we're at a full inch.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing was, like, his speed hasn't gotten that much faster in terms of what he does with his irons. So we went with the Dynamic Gold, and it was an X100, and that's what we've been in for a very long time.
Yeah.
Like since the beginning. What you find is you don't want to mess around with the feel, and the shaft really presents a lot of feel.
Right.
And I get this, is like we got a lot of professionals that'll come in and they'll, hey, I want to try a different shaft. But we end up generally speaking, with good players, we end up in the same shaft, because what it does when you get it to a point is you feel it.
Yeah, they're so
Yeah.
Sam's probably so used to the feel that it'd be
Yes.
a pretty radical change to
Yeah.
throw something else in there. So,
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about wedges now, because there's 4 wedges in the bag here. Vokey SM10 design. I guess my first question I had for you was, there's no pitching wedge with the iron set. It's kind of the 46 degree or 48 degree of a Vokey SM10. So what was, the decision behind that and having that versus kind of the set pitching wedge?
Yeah. So I used to have a pitching wedge, but then we switched to the 46 a couple years ago, and I think we kind of just did it for more control and just less variance in terms of distances with my wedges.
Okay.
I personally recommend and definitely like having a 46 degree more rather than a pitching wedge, because I just feel like it has that wedge look to it rather than an iron look.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I obviously am more, and it's easier for me to hit wedges obviously than irons and be able to hit it closer. But that's kind of that's why we switched to a 46 degree, was just for,
Almost like a confidence thing, where it's you put down a wedge and it's like, okay, this is a scoring club.
Exactly.
Like, I can hit this close.
100%.
And I wonder too, was there, and maybe part of it was like, you seem like you maybe noticed not a gapping issue, but just better gapping with this wedge versus, say, the pitching wedge with the set, where maybe that was going almost a little too far, and then there was a gap between this 50 and the pitching wedge, kind of thing like that. Is there?
Exactly.
So that was probably. It sounds like it's pretty easy conversation for you guys.
Yeah, and even from a fitting perspective, is when I have players, I'll ask too. If I'm going to take a pitching wedge and start to hit different shots, like he can take a 46 degree wedge and he can flight it.
Yeah,
he can
right.
take something off of it. That's harder to do with a pitching wedge.
Yeah.
And even though it says wedge, it's really an iron.
Yeah, it's a pitching iron.
It's constructed like an iron. It's built like an iron. It's an iron. It's just top to bottom.
Yeah.
And that conversation happens in the fitting bay all the time.
Yeah, sure.
If you like to chip, you like to kind of use half shots, I'm going to go with an actual wedge for the more controlled part.
Right. So now going through, we got the lofts here. It looks like it's what, 46, 50. Is it a 56? Is that bent at all to anything, or is it just that 56?
Just
there?
a 56.
And then 60 degree.
60 degree. Yep.
Various grinds there. From a wedge perspective, Vokey SM10 and this kind of finish here, was kind of a no doubter for you? This is the build that you wanted pretty much?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, we had chrome in there.
We did, okay.
And we went to the nickel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you're a big proponent of the
Oh
nickel
my gosh.
finish.
The nickel's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
First time ever using it. No.
Okay. Because I think it was I don't know if they had it in the past, but I know with SM10 it was sort of a new addition, or was it SM9 that they added the
they had
nickel
brushed
finish?
nickel for a little while.
Okay.
And that was one. But this is a little bit of a different color. This is a little bit more gray. It's just a little bit more flat.
Yeah.
So it kind of has that rust look, but it's not rusting.
Yeah.
It kind of has the darker look. So like, if you like something that's not just bright and shiny and chromy. So it kind of has a little bit of the raw and the darker, but also from a wear perspective too, is like it's really super good. It holds up, but I set it down and the color blends well.
Yeah. So let's lastly cover putter here. So, and actually we want to talk about golf ball just a little bit too, but let's go to the putter. I'll actually have you pull that out of the bag there, Sam, because I know this has been, it sounds like just in talking to you guys that putter has kind of been a fun one. You've been through some different models here.
We have.
And now this looks it's very similar to what Scotty Scheffler's been using to win tour events. This is the TaylorMade Spider Tour X L neck. And then also I see some lead tape on the bottom there. So talk me through this, Sam, this putter, why you like the Spider Tour, and also a little bit about this lead tape.
So I got the lead tape on the bottom just to make the putter a little more heavier, a little more stable. Kind of feel like I was kind of getting a little handsy, so I feel like that helps definitely with more flow, especially my shoulders.
Okay.
And then just switching to the Spider, I've actually had this for a while now. I kind of switch back and forth here and there with my old Phantom Titleist putter. They're both kind of like my trust, reliable putters. But I've kind of just been grooving this the entire summer, and when we got this one, we were kind of actually going through a couple of putters, but then right when we started using this one, I stuck with it and kind of grinded into my muscle memory. So this is kind of like what I'm using now, and I actually just got this grip on it, which is obviously longer than a normal average grip, so it actually has more, it's heavier on top, so it gives me, again, just more stable. So because I feel like the biggest problem for me on my putting used to be kind of just too handsy, especially on short putts.
So the added weight keeps that stable
exactly,
for you?
Just more of a pendulum motion instead of just handsy, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, yeah.
Sure, and it's interesting that because I think there's a lot of golfers out there that actually prefer the lighter feel of a putter, but clearly you like the added weight, and you feel like that gives you more confidence. In terms of the fitting perspective, Tyler, what's it been like working with him? Clearly he kind of has another model he might go back to. He found something that's as he said, he kind of is grooving it this summer. But I know you enjoy the putter fittings too.
Oh well, yeah, I'm a putter geek on that too. But one of the things I look at with this was a 35-inch putter.
Yeah.
So it has been extended, and we talk a little bit about like his height because he's tall, and we want to get him in a comfortable position where he's not having to kind of maneuver into a position and then try to hold something. It's like we want to be comfortable. We want to be here. We don't want to be tucked up and stretched out. And this was a really good length, and we probably anything that we are going to do with the putter is going to be at least 36 inches. I don't remember what length this is, but one of the things that we talked about as well was trying to get some balance, because when we did extend it, and we did have a different grip on there, we also wanted to make sure that we had enough head weight. So it's like when you start to make this longer, I want to make sure that it's counterbalanced to that. So that's one of the things where you have more weight on either side. So you think about it as like, if I got a lot of weight on the bottom, I can move the grip all around. Well, that's not good. And if I got a lot of weight on the top and the putter head's really light, that can move around. Make them both heavier.
Probably that feel of being handsy that he's
100%.
talking about.
Yes.
Last thing I wanted to cover with you guys is the golf ball. I know we had talked a little bit off camera about playing Pro V1 and making a bit of a switch. So talk to me about that, Sam, that process. In a separate video, you talked about how you played Pro V1 for a long time, then you made a switch, was it last year? What was that like, and then what did you obviously had success with it right away, so talk to me about making that transition.
Yeah, so I still like using the Pro V1. I mean, I honestly don't really, besides the factor of why we switched to Pro V1 X was the reason for a higher ball flight and more spin. I think both balls are still absolutely great. But with that being said, we switched the Pro V1 X, like I said, just for higher ball flight, more control, more spin. That's the bottom line. Was
that throughout the whole bag, or
exactly,
kind of your full swings basically?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Because that is, ultimately that's what the golf ball is designed for. That's why they have two options, two main options there. There's also some kind of some
dots and
deviations of the two, but in terms of golf ball, I know when it comes to ball fittings, that's the one piece of equipment that you use for every shot you play on the golf course. You're going to use the golf ball every time. So having that dialed in is huge in any fitting.
Right now, we have most golf balls do not, technically they don't spin as much as they used to.
Yeah.
Right, so even like the spinny ball is definitely, Pro V1 X has more spin, absolutely. But what it meant was like, even in that transition is when we got the new irons and we were hitting them, the numbers didn't change.
Yeah.
So as long as the numbers didn't change and we were hitting it well, we just stuck with it.
Yeah, the new ball allowed you to keep your game, keep your swing intact.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great, because for those that are maybe from Minnesota, or maybe they're throughout the country, they've probably seen your name pop up on some leaderboards, whether it be, you played the USAM last year, some of the high-profile junior tournaments, and you've had a very successful junior and high school career. So now we wish you the best of luck as you transition to the college ranks and take on Division I golf at TCU. So Sam, thank you for the time today. Tyler, thank you for joining us for a pretty good discussion here on your bag. We wish you the best of luck, Sam, in your college career.
Yeah, thank you.
What I would say is keep your grooves clean and stay razor sharp.
Stay razor sharp, baby.